Hey man, this is Adrian Gomez. Thanks for being a part of 212 Athlete. I am going to measure this. Sorry it took me so long to get to you. Things have just been absolutely crazy. So out of the back leg, he's squatting very, very well. 104 degrees. So he's squatting low enough, which is great. That's the power out of the back leg, which is good. Now, as he plants that front leg, we're gonna look at this angle real quick, and it's about 110. So he's very flexible. He has a lot of power into that front leg, which is awesome. Let's look at how it transfers into the front. So he does a great job of that front knee being over ankle. There's not much movement in the knee around it. Let's look at the angle of the front knee. It's 127. Now, as he throws the ball, he comes back, but not by much. Now he comes up. So this front knee is sitting a little bit low. What I'd like to have happen is that this front knee retracts and comes back. His front knee's in the right place, but it's not retracting the way that I want it to. So I want big chest through. That's going to help. The front knee is going to help his chest come through better. And I can tell you right now that the chest is not driving as much as it should. There should be more chest involved. And that might be because of that front knee. So that's one thing that I want you to work on, is the angle by which you plant your leg. So one thing right there, internally rotated front knee. Online that's what it'll be located under. So let's get into posture ball release. So posture right here is what we call an A to a B. A C would be down here. You're an A, and what's different about that is your chest is down here, and then I have to come all the way up there. So that's a big head movement. So what I'd like you to do, instead of hunching over, I'd like you to stay tall this way. And I want you to move backwards in this direction. And as you move backwards in this direction and stay tall, you're allowing yourself to go extend while staying back, so that when you plant, you have something to throw with. If your head would have started on that line here, you wouldn't have as much head movement. And that's going to help increase your axis. You're going to be able to stay true to that axis that you throw on, and the rotation, the velocity of the is going to be that much better. So that's posture ball release. Looks like we have a little bit of a fleck of the ball here, right there. So I'm out in front of my front toe. It's a late release. And that's what we want, but we also want you to maybe extend further. That front knee has a lot to do with that chest extension, which also has a lot to do with the release point. So I want you to be aware of that. So release point, I want you to work on that as well. Okay, but a lot of that has to do with the front knee and then the chest as well. So also, let's get into the front stacking. Lower half stacking really well, but I don't want you to stack forward. I don't want you to go forward, because it's really not where your slot is. So you're crossing yourself up a lot. So stacking needs to be back with your upper body, head over the rubber, back leg in, but also we want to stay back this direction in that posture. So stacking needs to work. I think it's mostly upper body more than anything. Let's look at your front glove. Now, right here, you have a downward path angle going down this way. I don't want to see that. I want to see the opposite. I want to see an incline with your back shoulder down and your front shoulder up, allowing yourself, and that's where that stacking, what I just talked about, that stacking comes in, because we want your upper body to stay back, so that when you plant that front leg, you have a little bit more to throw with. That's going to help your chest extension as well. So why does that happen? Well, number one is stacking, and number two, let's look at front glove. You do a pretty good job of pinching here. You rotate pretty well there. But what I'd like to see is just a little bit more firm front glove. Instead of tucking down, I really want you to pinch those shoulder blades and be able to drive through. So that's a front glove, and when that front glove is there, that's going to inhibit the rotation. Also with the axis, your chest going forward, that's going to throw off the axis, so your rotational velocity is a lot lower. So let's look at elevated distal humerus. So this is a fancy word for your elbows higher than your shoulder. So if I measure both of your shoulders out to your elbow, I see about 182. So if you're elevated, you're only elevated about 2 degrees. I don't think that's astronomical. I don't think that's a huge incline. But just be aware of it. On the back side, the reason why your elbow is high is because you have a decline in your shoulders here. Your upper body's at a decline, and when it should be at an incline. We talked about that, and that's that stacking where it comes in. And this is where it shows up, where a lot of kids have high elbows. They have those elevated elbows. It puts stress on their UCL and also the anterior shoulder as well. So, okay, so high elbow, just be aware of that. Let's look into the chest extension. Chest extension, I'd like you to be in the high 40s. You're about 41, so I really think you have something to gain here. I'd like you to get to the 50s. It's not much. It's about 4 or 5 degrees, or not degrees, but 4 or 5 inches of your chest drive. But the front knee is really inhibiting that chest drive. So front knee is going to come back, and your chest drive is going to go forward. So out of that chest extension, let's look at your hand fly out. So right here, I know you're holding on to the ball right here. So as you drive through, your hand is not going, it's going outside of the elbow. I'd like to see in the next video you releasing the ball. But right here, your hand's not going outside your elbow too much. So you're going a little bit outside, but it's not much. So on the next video, I'd like to see you guys show me a release point out of there. And for whatever reason, this format of video, I had to screen mirror the phone to be able to capture the video. So I don't know what format you're sending it in, but I was able to get it, but it's a little bit grainy. Anyway, don't hesitate to contact me. Thanks for being a part of 212 Athlete. Sorry for getting this to you late, and I will talk to you soon.